Hello to all my galactics, all my light workers, all my human souls of this three-dimensional plane. I wanted to jump on here today to kind of introduce the Ascension to you, as many of you may not have even heard of the word Ascension and are probably just a little bit curious as to what all of this commotion is about, as it is an impending event that is about to dawn on our civilization, an event so great that it will change the trajectory of the fate of humanity for eons to come. It is important in this moment to know and to be in the know of what is about to creep onto us as a collective, as events will start to swirl around us, and a lot of human souls, a lot of you souls in general, will experience a lot of confusion if you didn't know about the Ascension and what that was all about. So in this moment, I wanted to kind of come on to bring a little bit of clarity to the situation of the quote-unquote Ascension. Now, Mother Gaia, which is the earth that we all live on, her spirit has been silently suffering in darkness for millions of years, ever since the inception of our planet. She's been residing within the core of our planet as the sole inhabitant of the grandness that she is, as she is the soul of our earth. For millions of years, for eons, she's been suffering in silence, experiencing that of the darkness of this three-dimensional frequency, scared, shivering, huddled in a corner all by herself, because she didn't share with anyone. She never had the strength to stand up for herself and share with God, share with the other planets, share with the consciousness of the universe, of the galaxies that so surround her now in lots of love and comfort. She was a baby soul during the time of her inception, and she has come leaps and bounds ever since then. For eons, she was scared, experiencing that of the opposite of who she truly is on the inside. On an interior level, she is made of pure love, pure light, and as are we all. But she has agreed to go on this grand journey, a grand soul's journey of descending down into a planet, of all of the things that a soul could choose, of everything in physicality that a soul could choose to inhabit. Gaia herself decided that she wanted to experience what it would be like to be a planet. And that in itself took so much strength, that in itself took so much bravery. And I commend her for that, because not a lot of souls are brave enough, are unique enough, are made for this type of environment. So as she started experiencing her life as Earth herself, inhabitants started forming around her core, civilizations started spreading across her plains, animals started harvesting and traversing across all of her bumpy mountains. All of her everlasting soul's presence was all-encompassing this whole entire planet, reaching the furthest distance of the littlest rock and the widest fields in the smallest countries. She was there all along. And her consciousness is still here with us today as we traverse into a new century and into a new dimension of pure love and pure light. And this ascension wouldn't be made possible had it not been for her strength to stand up one day and say that I've had enough. I've had enough of lonely nights huddled into a corner by myself without sharing all of my fears, without gathering around my friends, without knowing if things would be okay tomorrow, because I've been all by myself this whole entire time. One day, she stood in her pain and she decided, no more. No more of this loneliness. No more of this abuse that these inhabitants who have been living upon me have been living in deception of self, of unity consciousness, ignoring the ultimate thing that really mattered, which was her, the home to all of these living beings, the home to consciousness itself within planet Earth. She then so bravely reached out to God and asked for help. She had expressed all of her fears that were pent up within her for millions of years, for eons and eons, because she had had enough. She had learned her lessons, and she was ready to progress. She was ready to proceed into her next incarnation, out of the three-dimensional dense density that she's been living in, and into a more lighter density of love and light, carrying all of her inhabitants with her into a brighter world, into a strengthened world, into a world where she doesn't have to feel invisible anymore, into a world where she, in her own leadership, can stand up on her own and be applauded for the bravery, for the dedication, for all of the times that she sat alone and refused to speak about her pain to the universe, to the galaxies that were there for her all along. It's time now for her to ascend, to step into all of her glory. And we're here for it. We have to be here for it. We live upon her. Every single one of us will go on this crazy ride with her, no matter if we want to or if we don't. There's no choice, there's no option. We just have to go along with it. And that is what this ascension is all about. On a macro level, the planet is going through a great shift into her next level of evolution. On a micro level, every single organism, every single life that's inhabiting within her and on her core will be taken along for this wild ride. And on this wild ride of love and light, that will eventually illuminate all of the darkness that she's been sitting in, that she's been living with, that she's been breathing in for all of the eons, for everyone to see, for all of consciousness itself to see. And I'd like to, in this moment, announce that she's made it. She's come so far from where she was, and she's at that point in the road where she can now bravely stand up tall and proud and straight and say to humanity and say to herself that all of that was behind her and that she's become the strengthened soul that she is today because of everything she had ever experienced throughout her entire evolution of life as a planet, as Mother Earth. And she's so ready. She's so ready to carry us all into our next level of evolution, which is a state of consciousness that's closer to God, a state of consciousness closer to light, a state of consciousness closer to unity, and a state of consciousness that is a part of the all, that we have so forgotten, that some of us has been walking apart from this whole entire time, for lifetimes upon lifetimes of reincarnation, of birth and rebirth. We've forgotten. And it's time now, within the evolution of this civilization, within the evolution of the humans that are living upon Mother Gaia in this moment in time, that we shed of all of that distortion, that we start to remember who we really are, who we were at a soul level prior to incarnating here on Earth, who we were as brave souls, as everlasting souls, as interdimensional souls, that we all are. And that time is now, which is really exciting. And I can't begin to tell you how pumped and excited I am to start on this grand journey with you. A lot of you will be taken by shock when the landscape of the world starts shifting and changing within the coming years. But just know that in your heart, that all of this is happening for a grander purpose. And that as children of God, you are protected. If you should so bravely open up your heart to the love and light that's deeply ingrained within you, because that is what you're made of, and not anchor into the darkness that is about to propel you into the next level of evolution for Gaia and for humanity in general. Because that darkness will definitely wash up. It will wash up for all to see. as we've been living with it for generations. And to sink into the darkness is the only way out into the light. So in this moment, I would like to announce that I am so proud of you. I am so proud of Gaia. God is so proud of you. God is so proud of all that there is, as his consciousness spans across eons of evolution, across every single particle that you could imagine, and that you never can imagine, because God is all-encompassing. God is bigger than you know, and God is all that there is. And it's time for this civilization in this three-dimensional plane, in our lonely little galaxy, to wake up and finally see the truth of who we are all along. As a human race, we are ready to step into our next incarnation of belonging, of knowing, of being who we were meant to be all along. And that is so integral to the ascension itself. One day you will wake up and you'll feel so different than you felt yesterday. And that is because every day that you wake up, you are one step closer to that God consciousness that we were once all a part of, that we're still a part of. We're just living in an illusion of separation in this moment. And that's something that the entirety of humanity can look forward to, whether or not they want to experience it. It's happening, and the time is now. So that's a little bit about the ascension for you guys to witness and see as the days go by, as the years go by, as the months go by. Never lose sight of the hope and anchor onto the hope that we are all a part of God as the darkness surfaces. Anchor onto that hope that is so deeply ingrained inside every one of us. And I will see you all in the 5-dimensional frequency.